To be or not to be is what Mr. William Shakespeare said many moons ago. The modern day question in the EV world is to have a heat pump or not have a heat pump. And this video is to set out why I've changed my thinking about heat pumps. So here we have two 64 kilowatt hour E Niros. Love them both, they're brilliant. This is my neighbour Sam, his 2, which doesn't have the heat pump, just the PTC heater. And on my left is my E Niro 4 Plus, which does have the PTC heater and the heat pump. So we're going to find out now what of a sort of a difference does that make in its range. Now in the past, the very early EVs like the Mitsubishi 𝐈, C0, Peugeot Ion, they had a resistor type heater, and I'll be honest, you put the heater on in those early generation EVs, you would lose a huge chunk of range initially until the car reached temperature, and then the gasometer would settle down and you wouldn't have lost that much, but still a sizable chunk from a small battery. These two EVs, like a lot of EVs on the market, have a 64 kilowatt hour battery. So Kia have decided, in their wisdom or not, let me know in the comments section below, that the new Niro EV, it's basically the same car in different clothes with a few changes to its charging infrastructure within the car. The new Niro doesn't have a heat pump as standard, regardless of the trim level, even the top spec. It's a £900 option to have a heat pump. So why have Kia decided to do that? Well, I think it's obviously down to cost, and they're looking to perhaps cash in on people insisting on a heat pump and paying that £900 extra. But working here with Reflex, we've got some amazing data on the difference in ranges and miles per kilowatt hour that have been actually recorded over something like 50 EVs. I'd say roughly 25 of them have been E Niro 2s, and the other 25 have been the E Niro 4 Plus with a heat pump. So rather than going down the lines of, well, if you drive like this and if you drive into wind and temperature, that's going to affect how the heat pump works. We've all got different driving styles, but the data I'm going to put up on the screen and share with you during this video will just highlight that we've got some great averages of people that have just been driving these EVs here as part of the Reflex project. And we've got some amazing data that's come from the onboard telematics. So we'll show you the graph, and I think you'd be quite surprised, well, I've been surprised on how many miles per kilowatt hour you lose by just having the PTC heater. That's the positive coefficient. I've forgotten what it's called. The PTC heater. The PTC heater called a positive change, positive temperature coefficient heating element. That's what a PTC heater is. Got it right. So that uses a different way of heating the cabin. But anyway, let's delve into the figures. So here are the figures from Reflex. 23 E Niro 2s and 21 E Niro 4 Plus, as denoted by the orange and grey lines. So just to recap, the E Niro 2, as denoted here, does not have a heat pump, as opposed to my E Niro 4 Plus, which does have a heat pump underneath that cover. So let's have a look at the figures. The line along the bottom is months of the year. The gap between months 7 and 9 is when just before we had the E Niro 2s, but we got a good overall view of its efficiency. So crunching the numbers 1 to 12 months of the year, look at months 6 and 7. The E Niro 2 without the heat pump is actually more efficient than the 4 Plus. No idea why. What do you think? What's the reason behind that? Let me know in the comments section below. But interesting data. So the worst months, January and December, there's nearly a kilowatt hour difference in its efficiency, but not as much as I thought. It would be good if manufacturers fitting vehicles without a heat pump would fit heated seats and steering wheel as standard. That would obviously help heat the cabin and make it more efficient. But great stats to see. Now the other thing that does affect efficiency on any EV, as you all know, is the time it takes to heat up the cabin and also cool it down. So the other thing we need to look at is how fast does a PTC heater heat the car and compared to the one with the heat pump. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to set up a time lapse in both of these vehicles. I'm going to set the temperature to 30 degrees and also a stopwatch and time how long it takes. So the dashboard is just flicked over to 17 degrees, measuring the outside air temperature. I'm going to stick the probe in the face vent and start the timer and ask for heat and get it just coming out there and turn it up to 27, and let's see how we get on. So I've set it for 27 degrees, just coming out the face vent just below the screen, and after, where are we, 30 seconds, we're already up. Are we on 27 there? 28.9, there you go. So it's taken a minute and a half for it to reach the temperature with the PTC heater. Let's see how quick it is in the E Niro 4 Plus. So here we go in my E Niro. Pop it into the vent, the car is on, ask for heat, whack it up to 27, start the timer, and let's see how we get on. There we go, 27 degrees. So a full 1 minute quicker in the 4 Plus with a heat pump. So here's the E Niro 2 without a heat pump. And this is my E Niro 4 Plus with a heat pump. Okay, so what about cooling? So we're nice and toasty in here now. So let's pop this probe in. This is my 4 Plus still. And let's go for super cold. Let's go back to 17 degrees. Obviously set the heat off. Let's put it on auto. And let's make it face. There we go. 15 already, pretty quick. So let's see how fast it takes to cool the E Niro 2. So let's go all the way down to 17 and see how fast the non-heat pump can get the temperature back down. 16. Look at that, in 38 seconds, 39 seconds. Awesome. I can't tell any difference, to be honest. So here are the gasometer results. So in the E Niro 2, I'm going to ask for heat. So let's take it right up so you can see it change. So let me turn the heater off. 206. Ask for maximum heat. 199. What's that? That's 7 miles. That's not a massive loss, is it? 7 miles. Let's go for maximum aircon. Ah, there you go. 191 miles. So it's pulling some energy from the air conditioner, the compressor, to cool the car. Now I bet that's going to be the same as in my E Niro 4 Plus. Let's just have a quick look. So 206, and then when asking for AC, 191. So this is my E Niro 4 Plus with the heat pump. Now obviously I haven't got the same state of charge, so the range is different to my neighbour's 2. But let's ask for maximum heat. And I'll drop to, where are we? 185. Let's turn it off. 189. So there's a loss of, what, 4 miles range. Now let's ask for maximum coolness, so 17 degrees. 181. Let's turn it off. 189. So there is some improvement in its guesstimated range with a heat pump, but it's not massive, it really isn't. So there we go, proof that perhaps in my opinion we shouldn't be so obsessed with insisting that our next EV has a heat pump. So many manufacturers are now making it an option. So when you consider how long it's going to take for you to recoup that £900 extra cost, as in the case of the Niro EV, you know, over so many years, and I think it was 135,000 miles, the range and the cost savings, it's going to take an awful long time to get that £900 back. And with a massive 64 kilowatt hour battery, it doesn't matter really, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So I hope you found this useful. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. And from a windy Orkney, as per usual, I will say goodbye before the camera blows over. See you next time.